Good morning. Yeah, Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. I'm Larissa. Oh, it's my video diary. Oh my god. Time has come. Straight from skulls. Yeah. Oh, look who it is. Hey, sir. How are you? How are you, sir? Hey, sir. Sir, you gonna come up here? You gonna come up here? You got stuff in your fluff. I know. I see your breath. It's kind of cold in here, huh? It's a little chilly in the bedroom this morning, huh? Oh, I could use a snuggle. Oh my god. I could use a snuggle or two. But he doesn't want to come up here and snuggle with me. No, nobody wants to snuggle with Larissa. Just to get fatter and fatter, keep myself warm. Get myself a fur coat to sleep in. Somebody might mistake me for a bear in the bed. Oh my god. Look over here. This pile of laundry I got sticking out of got towels down in the dryer. Oh my gosh. I just separate this laundry out up here. Get that down there and start that. It's just like never ending. The never-ending laundry. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, so yesterday, oh my gosh, April 2nd, huh? What a crazy day yesterday was, huh? Ugh, I watched a few live streams yesterday. Oh my god. Fucking politics. I used to be a huge political junkie, right? Like, oh, I did all that organizing work and all that volunteer work and bullshit, you know. All this stuff. Oh, Larissa will be so good for your career. This will look great on your resume, Larissa. All that shit. I was told that. Right. Yeah. I watched some rally for Planned Parenthood in San Francisco. Just like turned my stomach. I'm like, really? Now? You're a day late and $1 short, bitches. Just they trot out some bitch from Texas. They're like, oh, she's gonna fight in Texas. I'm like, yeah, she's been real effective, hasn't she? It just and they start the thing with this woman goes on and on and on about being a Jew. Which fine, I'm great. I'm so happy for you. So happy for you that you have your faith. But it's just like you're here at a political rally. What is your goal here? Are you working to convert people? Or are you there for the cause of women's rights? Because everything was just prefaced with, and as a Jew, it's just like, okay, we get it. Right? Separation of church and state. Like, none of that. If you're speaking that way at your synagogue, right? Or if you're a Christian and you're speaking that way at your church, right? Or whatever. But it really has no place at a political rally, right? If you're speaking that way from your own, shtick, right? Like by yourself. If you're an island of yourself and you're speaking. When I write some stuff for my magazine, and when I talk about things from a Christian perspective, or from my Christian perspective, I'm writing about my art, right? It's not a governing body that is looking to make decisions for the all, right? I'm writing about my artwork. So it's not quite like the same thing. And besides the fact, I mean, it just really did not sit right with me from the beginning. And uh, and then they had some guy talking about, "Oh, you're going to be leaders," and I'm just like, oh, this shit, It's like, oh, the Alinsky bullshit, right? The appeal to people's egos and tell them that, they're going to be leaders, right? Like, I just heard that shit over and over and over with the IAF and, other organizing groups. You're a community leader, are you now? Like, and if that's what you're using to lure people in and rev them up, that you're going to be in charge of other people, right? That's what a leader is, right? Somebody who's in charge of other people. That's problematic. So the whole thing just really bothered me. And then they had other, like, Congress people up there talking about, because I talked to so and so, I talked to Stephanie, and I talked to Audrey, and their stories, and it's just like, where's Stephanie and Audrey, right? It just smacked of overly produced, organized rhetoric, and it made me sick. Made me sick to my stomach listening to it. Yeah, of course they had there was constituency there that wasn't on camera, but you could hear off camera. The anti-choice people. Adoption's an option. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. And of course it's a man's voice, someone who is wombless, does not know what it is to carry within themselves as vessel. And so, sir, daddy's just outside. Daddy's outside bringing in the trash cans. That's what you're hearing. It's just daddy with the trash cans. It's okay. It's good for the trash cans to come back, so we have someplace to put our trash. Right? Sir? How are you, sir? I'm always bringing the trash cans in. And Brody's like, what's going on? What's going on? You don't need to bark. It's just daddy. It is. You can go down and see daddy if you want. You gonna go down and see daddy? Or are you gonna come up here with mommy? You just came up here to be with mommy now, and you're all like, should I stay or should I go? If I stay, there will be trouble. If I go, it will be double. So come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? This indecision's bugging me. If you don't want me, set me free. I know that feeling. Jeez. Just tell me, who am I supposed to be? I don't know which clothes even fit me. So come on and let me know. Anyway, yeah, so it was just awful. It was just an awful, awful. And there was live chat. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. No, I couldn't. Yeah. Then I watched Gav. Watch Gav talk about his new skills program with the master plan. It's part of the master plan. Oh, is it? It's part of the master plan. Like, where's Jerry Brown? California, Uber Alice. California, Uber Alice. Now it's 1984. Knock, knock at your front door. It's the suede denim secret police. They've come for your uncool niece. How you doing, Jello? Yeah, so Gab's out there, standing in front of a big old shiny fire truck with all his with his buddies. They're talking about their skills program. It's gonna happen, Modesto, with community college. Yeah, they'll train people with skills, give them certificates. You'll get credit for knowledge you already have. It's like, oh, if you don't have a high school diploma, it's okay. It's like, oh, is it? Is it okay? It's like we gotta get these people able to work. It's like, geez, you couldn't get them to finish high school or even go to a fucking community college, for but you think you're gonna be able to certify them with skills? They need skills. Girls only want boyfriends with good skills. Gavin, bow hunting skills, nunchuck skills. Oh no, no, no! But I mean, the initiative is right. We need flat out trade schools. He had some student from one. They had some student from their academy, their fire academy. He came out. It's like, oh, he's all tall. He's got a real deep voice. He's like, yeah, me and my cadre. Blah. I'm like, oh, you're tall, buddy. Wow, you don't even need a ladder. You just stand in front of the building, grab the grandma out the burning window, can't you? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm like, they do a lot of fire training in prisons, huh? Mm. Anyway, we need flat out trade schools, right? Right? And need credits for apprenticeship programs, right? Um, and those should be overseen by the unions. I mean, the unions are still around. Maybe they should start doing things that are useful for a change, right? Instead of their lobbying thuggery. Mm. But anyway, Gavin was not shiny. He had himself powdered, and he stopped dyeing his hair. So you see he's got some grays. He's like, oh, I'm distinguished now. Look, I'm all natural. Not so shiny. Gavin. How you doing, Gav? Mm, yeah. Mm, yeah. And then I watched the Trump talks about the tariffs. And, I see where he's coming from on tariffs. And as an American business owner who makes and sells and is trying to sell things that they make themselves, right? Like, Bitch down the street with the gift shop selling all the tchotchke crap made in third world countries. And here I am up the street making stuff that can be, I have stuff priced, you know, not most of my stuff's really is very expensive, but I do have stuff, my journals and my note cards and some of my jewelry pieces that I have, my dominoes and stuff like that. Like those are affordable for buying somebody a gift, right? I mean, they're not cheap, but you can go in her place and spend $50 on a couple candles, right? That and or other shit, just like and useless shit like magnets with goofy sayings on them and stuff. It's like all that shit. It's all made overseas. That shit's gonna have tariffs on it, and I think it should. And that's part of the one of gallery studio business model. For the franchisement because if you that's something I have for sale as well is franchise opportunity. Yeah, it's an interesting to me, it's an interesting idea. This concept of one of a kind independent artist meets franchisement, right? It's kind of like the same idea as a guild or a trade union kind of thing. So if you're selling your own stuff, like we can band together, right? And have an organized continuity with a set of standards and advertising power, right? That's what the franchisement is about. So like you can open your own one of gallery studio, your name after that, right? Like one of gallery studio Larissa, that's mine. Like one of gallery studio, I don't know, Betsy Sue making whatever, like even if it's candles and it's not heavy conceptual art, you know, if it's handmade stuff you're making yourself, right? That's the idea. So it's about making a network for sustainable small local businesses and benefits. What do you get for that? You get to use the logo and the name, and then there's reciprocal advertising, so reciprocal links on websites and advertisement in in the magazine, right? That's the whole. That's what I'm trying to do here, like it's part of the concept. It's part of the concept of 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 sustainable economic business, of slow business, of small business, of local business, right? So there's a list of rules in the franchisement or qualifications or whatever. It has to be one person. You have to make everything yourself. Um, you have to have some sort of there has to be some sort of like concept leaning towards environmental sustainability. Um, you have to offer you have to offer at least one quarterly event, right? Something you have to offer something for the community, right? So it's about um, holistic health of community and business. It's part of the concept. It's part of the concept of one of, right? And I like the juxtaposition of franchisement next to being one of a kind. It creates kind of like a friction that is interesting, right? Yeah. So no, I understand the tariff thing, and yeah, it's gonna be rocky and rough, but I think that it has the potential, if it doesn't just shatter everything to start, like it has the potential of reinvigorating the American economy. And it's going to and it's also an education opportunity for the American populace, because majority of people just don't think about their consumption in any way, shape, or form, right? Think about the item that's in their hand that they're using for whatever. So let's take the item that's in my hand. This mug. This mug I bought at World Market. I can't even the at Cost Plus World Market. I don't know where there it says on the bottom it's small, and I still have tea in my mug, so I can't like turn it over to look at it right now. Tell you exactly where it was made. But there's a number of places where it was probably made. China, India, Indonesia, right? So what is this? This is a slip cast mug. And so there'd be a mold, and the handle would be is attached after the fact. Um, but the way that something like this is made is there's a mold, and they pour the wet clay into it. And when I say wet, I mean like liquid clay. And then in the mold is plaster, and so the plaster wicks out the moisture from the clay, firms it up. It's a two-part mold. It would have to be. It would have to be a two-part mold, right? And the seam for the mold is probably goes down the side here on either side. And then when it's firm enough, the mold is pulled apart, and the body of the mug would be removed. Any flashing from where the seam from of the mold, it would be smoothed off, and then the handle would be applied. And the handle would be applied. You score where it attaches, and then it gets applied with slip, um, and then it gets fired, gets bisque fired, and then it gets glazed. And this would be a high fire glaze. That's it. It's labor intensive. I mean, this isn't it's a labor intensive piece, and it does require handwork, right? The removing of the flashing, and the attaching of the handle. That's definitely handwork. I mean, the pouring of the mold, those might be done on a conveyor belt, right? Some sort of mechanized machine to pour the mold. Yum. This might even be a three-part mold, right? Because there's shape on the bottom. It might be a three-part mold. So that would be another seam that could potentially have flashing that would need cleaned up. Oh my goodness. What's flashing? Well, it's when you have a seam, there's a little bit of a crease there, right? And so there's a little bit of a void potentially. And you could have liquid the liquid clay get into those cracks, right? And then when you pull it off, there'd be like a little spine or a ridge that is not part of the design that would have to be knocked off. That's what flashing is. A little leak. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but people don't think about that. People don't think about that shit. Most people don't even know how something is made that's in their hand. that they're buying, or what kind of process goes into it, or where it happens. And it's just like, um, N lots of people are talking about, "Oh, this is," people are they're gonna lose jobs. Well, there might be some job loss, but the jobs that are gonna be lost are going to not be manufacturer jobs, they're going to be sales positions, right? Um, but there's the potential of creation of jobs, huge potential of creation of jobs, because factories and assemblies are gonna have assembly lines will have to be built, and people will have to be hired to do those jobs. But it's gonna be interesting to see if they're able to find people with those skills, right? With those skill sets. Focus Hope program that was in Detroit. I don't know if it's still there. It was run by Father Cunningham in the Catholic Church. Focus Hope was a training program for auto assembly auto workers, and they offered specifically a lot of training for women. They also have I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the program. Father Cunningham died a number of years ago, um, but they also had a food pantry and a daycare, because the training program, there were, like I said, there were a lot of women that they trained for auto assembly jobs. Yeah, it was a really, really interesting program. The facility was really cool. I did a tour of it in high school. Went down, did a program. It was a photo program. They brought in kids from all over. The program was called Focus on the Mission, and they brought in kids from all over the Metro Detroit area, and they paired us up. It was like you had two kids from what every school, that those were the spots, and then they split us up and put you with other kids from other schools that you probably wouldn't have met, and then went all over Detroit and took photos, did like photo essays, and there was a photo show at the end, and everything. They gave you everybody got the same camera. Everybody got the same. It was a disposable camera with black and white film in it. Yeah, and we took photos. Yeah, yeah, it was a really cool program. But that's how I got to learn about Focus Hope. Yeah, I had a T-shirt, black and white hands, like in a swirl kind of. It said Hope around it. Focus Hope. Yeah, like when I was in school, um, I had a blacksmith, not a blacksmithing, but a welding class. I took a welding class as a um before I even got into CCS. When I went down there, it was an extension course that I took when I was in high school, um, and they were able to apply that to my blacksmithing requirement for in school. So I didn't take the blacksmithing class, but if you did in the metals program, if you went the blacksmithing route, like there was division within the metals program. You could either focus on non-ferrous work or on ferrous work, right? Um, and I didn't I didn't go the blacksmithing route, and it's a good thing I didn't, because, like, with my arm, like, even to go back now and do silversmithing work, to do the forging work that I was doing, that would be so hard on me. It'd be so it's like I have that wood carving stuff downstairs, and I'd love to I have some materials down there, but when the thing popped in my back, it's what I'd been doing. I'd been doing wood carving, and the reverberation of the hammer strike is what I am leery of, although I would really, really, really I have 3 big chunks of madrone down there that I would really like to hack into, you know? I know what I wanna make out of them. I know what I wanna make out of them. It's just the process is hard on my body. Um, but you could get part of that program was certification so that you could go work on factory lines, right? There's a license, like, that you have to have, that says that you have so many hours logged and so many skills mastered. You know, you have to be able to draw a bead, and you have to be able to cut and all that shit, and arc and TIG and oxyacetylene. Right. I'm proficient, or at least I used to be. It's been a very very long time, but I'm proficient at oxyacetylene. I can draw a bead and I can cut. Arc welding, like I never made anything with the arc welder. I just used the arc welder for demonstration purposes, but I never like it freaked me out. Like when you have that black hood on and that mask and you can't see a goddamn thing, right? Like literally you can't. And so it's a lot of power to hold in your hand, right? And the heat is very, very intense. Yeah, it is. It's really intense. Oh man, but I'll tell you, the smell in the foundry, that smell, I can, mm, it's so exciting, right? Oh, it's like the smell of the power of the earth when you smell that. I just always think like think about like oh, the Earth's molten core. You know, this must be what it smells like. Powerful. It's powerful. But you know, there are a few people who have those skills or know anything about them or are interested in them. Like I have a cousin who's a welder, a union welder. Yeah. Mhm. What does it mean to draw a bead? Well, like when you make a seam. So when you're doing brazing, you have your brazing, you have your rod, right? You have your rod, and you have your two pieces you're putting together, right? And you flux it, and then you have your rod in whatever your dominant hand is, and you have your torch in the other hand, and you have to like keep the balance of your torch and your rod. It's like and you melt the rod into whatever that seam is, right? To fuse the two pieces together. Yeah. And it's called the bead. That's drawing a bead. You draw a bead down the line. Yeah. So I was proficient. I was very proficient at that. I was very, very proficient at that. Yeah. And I could cut. And what is cutting? Cutting is when you concentrate your torch point so that it's super like at its hottest and at its sharpest. And you can cut a line. You can cut your metal, cut your sheet metal or whatever with the flame. I was proficient at that as well. I learned that in high school. Yeah, it was my senior year. I think I did that. I did that class my senior year. Mm. So we'll see. Skills here in California, for sure. Firefighting is an important skill, but you know, electricians, plumbers, and lumberjacks, we need them, and people and construction folks, we need them. Hmm. Electricians, plumbers, lumberjacks, like the work that Omar has done out there milling, and the work that the guys when they come out and they limb and stuff. But it's not just being able to do that, but knowing which ones to take and why and how many and when. Right, like that knowledge too, that combined knowledge, um, with those skills. We need those. We need people like that. Um, so I don't know. Those are generally not things that are taught in college. They're taught in trade school or by apprenticeship, and uh, need guilds. Need more guilds. So that's what I watched yesterday. And then the last piece for the installation that I'm working on right now for my series, my Lent series. I started that yesterday. Hopefully I'll finish that up, that assembly today. Finish that assembly today. And oh, yesterday I also got all the photos framed that I have from the series, the ones that I'm going to frame. I mean, really, I would love to frame all of them, but it's too expensive, right? I can't afford 174 frames. I can't afford it. So I have 36 frames or 35 frames, something like that. And the last chunk of frames that I don't have pictures in just yet is because I will want to frame photos of the actual installation when it's done. But, well, I don't want to give away too much of it about what's going on. But yeah, there are other photos I have to take yet. That can't be taken yet until the installation is all ready to be installed. Mm. Yeah. So I worked on that yesterday and started prepping some stuff for mailing, which was what I'll work on today. This morning I'll get up, I'll make some eggs, and then tend the laundry a little bit, and then I have to figure out what I'm gonna make for dinner tonight. Oh, listen to him. Listen to him. I have some leftover eggplant down there. I think what I'll do is I'll make an eggplant tomato sauce, and I got some springs. I'll make a pasta tonight. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Hmm. Make an eggplant tomato sauce pasta. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. Oh my gosh, Brody. Oh my gosh. He's over here. Hey, sir. You relaxing? You maxing and relaxing? You chillaxing? You ex-laxing? You better not be ex-laxing. You sex waxing? You taxing? I want my tax refund.